Today we're talking with Nino, Vranešič. So let's talk about Mozilla. How does one rep Mozilla in Slovenia? What do you do?
Basically, a rep position is something that you need to get, or this title is something that you need to acquire through the years that you have shown some commitment to global community of Mozilla. So this means that I've been active in Mozilla community since 2010, and in these years I have been active on different areas, including marketing, Firefox ads that was recently dispatched, and also on marketplace part that was part of Firefox ads. So through these years I have gained experience and knowledge that Mozilla put in me, and they decided that I'm knowledgeable enough to represent them in country. So if something goes wrong here, or if there's some public announcement, I can be their spokesperson.
You go to many conferences and meetings.
Yeah, that's true. I've been to a lot of conferences. Also, I've been in Florida, in Orlando, so last December, and it was great because the weather there is absolutely gorgeous in the winter. So yeah, I'm traveling a lot. I'm sharing my knowledge, and I think it's great. Like a pleasure for me that I've been invited to talk with you about what's happening on the open source field in our region.
So that's the next question I was going to ask. So what is happening with free and open source software in Slovenia and surrounding countries?
So we can see that basically open source software is everywhere around us. We use it on personal computers, mobile phones, like even GoPro cameras use open source software. So people basically interact with it every day. But we don't know. And my job is kind of to introduce that open source, what open source is to them. So if we focus on Europe, like on our continent, Europe has become one of the biggest hotspots for open source use in government. It's definitely one of the main topics that we like here in government and European Union. For example, I can give an example from Slovenia. Like Slovenia's Supreme Court, which is responsible for like entire court system in the country, uses mostly open source software solutions, which is like a big advantage over proprietary software, because this helps them to turn like lower costs of infrastructure and other things. And basically they are like using open office package. They're using Mozilla Thunderbird as mail client and Firefox web browser. So their estimation on this case is that they're saving up to 500,000 euros per year, which is like a huge number, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, I can just give you some numbers. We have like 66 courts across Slovenia, which is like small country, 2 million people, but around 4,400 staff uses it. So it's like a big company, you know? And 500,000 euros per year is a big saving for a country, you know? It's because Supreme Court is publicly funded. And this is like a great example that shows that organization which is publicly funded is taking responsibility by adapting some long-term, you know, sustainable model, which is based on open source, and that's always good.
So like last week or week before rather, we talked with a guy who's the IT director for a school system in Pennsylvania, USA. And he was saying they saved $40,000 US dollars per year. And he said, that's a teacher. It's another teacher.
And they're probably using Moodle, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
I can also add to that most universities in Europe use Moodle. So It's a widely used software for universities.
And I hear it's better than Blackboard.
Yeah, it's a lot better, and it's really modular, so you can really adapt it as you need it.
Yes. So so the guys I was talking to and the other people I know in the education, they say they don't just use Moodle for the money because it's better.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And we talked earlier that you were in Bulgaria, right? Bulgaria is also specific case because this year they like accepted a law that that all software written for the government must be free and open source software, which is great because open source software is inching closer to being a like global standard rather than a niche there.
Yes.
And we can like see that most countries in Europe are trying to transform their governments and implement laws that support usage of open source software. So I think that's one side of these equations, you know, government and public financed entities. But on the other side, we can see that the vast majority of companies and also individuals are more and more participating in open source projects. So they're doing this because, like you said before, it's better and it's easier way for them to achieve their goals. And when I started in open source, I think that there were many doubters that open source is the right way. But in Europe, we can now see that they have changed their mind about open source, and they recognize it as some strong point on which they can finally try and build platforms that are based on open source, and they don't need to pour thousands of millions of dollars to just build a platform that already exists.